Hi guys, sometimes bad luck can happen and paramotor pilots may end up in a crash or an accident, resulting in breaking their gear. This is what happens to our fellow pilots from Austria. We got their carbon spars broken, and the good news is that carbon fiber is very easy to repair if you know how, and you're gonna learn how right now on this video. Here is a carbon fiber repair kit. In this little package there's everything you need to repair broken carbon elements, and today I want to fix these, and I want to start with the most complicated part, and that is the root of the carbon spar. It's complicated because we need to pay attention to this hole and to this little hole so no resin is flowing into, because if you get epoxy inside you will not be able to put it onto the frame. So this is the most complicated part, and this is what we're going to show today how to fix. Any other part on the Scout is just way easier than this particular. So let's start. So here's one from Stefan from Austria. Greetings. He did an amazing job improvising and fixing it with duct tape. Well, there's a basic rule: if duct tape doesn't work, use more duct tape. But now we want to replace the duct tape with proper carbon fiber fix. Let's see how much damage we have underneath the duct tape. So it's basically cracked, not broken yeah, it's broken all the way. So this is what we need to fix today, and here are our tools. So let me do a recap what we have in the epoxy repair kit. Most of all, carbon fiber cloth, epoxy and hardener, 2 packs for 2 repairs. This, I don't know how it's called in English, whatever. This is some, like, you know, very plastic gum that kids play with. And furthermore, we have Superglue, Sandpaper, mixing sticks, scissors, electrical tape, and this is actually a piece of fuel line that will come very useful. So what we start with, so I will use the Superglue to keep this part in place while I will be working on it. Let's start with the gloves. So guys, there's one very useful trick when using the gloves. I really hate them, you get all sweat underneath. But the good trick is to put 2 at once. And the reason is that once the glove gets sticky and dirty from any other material in the future, you won't be able to put another pair onto your sweat hands. So what I will just do, I will remove the top layer of the gloves and keep the underneath on my hands. Let's start with the Superglue. Make sure you don't put the Superglue anywhere near to this hole, because you don't want the glue get in there, because it could block the motion of the safety pin later. Good. So the next step is the sandpaper. To fix this broken part, I will put carbon fiber from here to approximately here to make it more adhesive to the original component. I obviously need to scratch it and using sandpaper.
Robím to druhýkrát v živote.
Dúfam, že sa to podarí. So this is how it should look like. Before I apply the carbon fiber and epoxy, I want to make sure none of the epoxy will get into these holes, because we need to keep them nice and clean. This is why we have this plastic gum. I mean, it looks like explosives, but trust me, it's not. You want to pay attention to two things. So you want to fill the hole, but you also want to cover this outer edge of the carbon spar, because if any of the resin will come here, you will not be able to put the carbon component all the way on top of onto the frame. It's not a big deal, because you can always sandpaper it down, but you will save some work if you keep the end of this tube sealed, just like this. Okay, so next thing is I will put 2 pieces of carbon fiber. This is like a sleeve, so I will just put it on 2 layers somewhere up to here. So let's open the bag. So just open the bag, spread the sleeve slightly to make it wider, and let it come on top of it. Now I know how much I need, so I need to cut it roughly here. Here's the end of the spar. Pull off a little and make a nice and clean cut. Good. I just want to secure it in place. Make sure you don't move around too much, because you want to keep the end nice and clean. Okay, that's the first layer, and now let's try to put on the second. 2 layers of carbon fiber would be perfectly enough, and you're gonna still have some leftovers of the carbon fiber cloth. Okay, cut. Okay, before we mix the resin, you want to make sure to plug this hole as well. So now I have just located by feel where the hole is. Now I want to separate the fibers. Simply pull them aside. Now I clearly see the tiny hole, and with the conical end of this little tube, you just squeeze it in. That's it. Good. Now let's mix the resin. Here is epoxy and here's our hardener. There's another pair of bags for your next repair, so let's put it aside. And this is a little bowl that we're gonna mix it in. So basically, I will just cut the tip of the bag. So this is the epoxy. So now we have roughly 30 minutes to work. with, but we definitely don't need that much. So just with a brush, I want to apply the epoxy on to the carbon fiber. You don't swipe with the brush. You just basically touch it with this repeated motion, but don't swipe. Your goal is to let the resin soak all the way through the carbon fiber cloth. So imagine like you would be pushing the resin inside. So now we are done here. The final step is to wrap it with electrical tape, and the main goal is to compress the new material to the original one and squeeze out the excess epoxy. I will cut the rubber away, we don't need it anymore. Good. Now gently but firmly wrap the whole thing around. And you can already see the excess resin to come out. I'm creating a nice and firm compression of the new material to the old one. I think this will be a pretty decent repair. Okay. Now it's time, I believe, for the second pair of gloves. I think we only need the last one wrap. Okay. Now I feel the tape is getting already sticky onto the clean carbon original material. So this repair was the most complicated one because we had to seal the end of the spar and the hole for the safety pin. Any other parts are way more easier to do. You either use this carbon fiber material as a sleeve to put onto could be the spar or the cage hoop, or you can use it as a solid, as a simple material, just wrap around. That works as well. I would recommend use 2 layers, that's plenty enough. Now we have to let it rest for another 24 or at least 12 hours. I didn't have my morning coffee, so I'm pretty stoked to have one that we are finished with this one. See you tomorrow. Hi guys, welcome back after weekend. Last Friday I fixed 3 spars. Now it's the time for the surprise. I want to unwrap this green tape and see what's underneath. So let's start. Okay, so here we have the tape peeled off, sort of. Now the final touches. Remove the last residues of the green tape. Remove this plastic gum, plastiline. I think it's called plastiline. as we have removed the plastiline, let's do some final touches, and that is, I need to proper finish the end. If there are any residues of the epoxy and carbon fiber coming over the edge of the spar, it will not be possible to slide the spar all the way in onto the main frame. So we need to just cut it off until you see the aluminium ring that is in there. And that is. Now I want to clean the hole for the safety pin. So I will just cut any excess epoxy that's in there. Carbon will not block the motion of the safety pin. Fine. If done properly, there should be no excess epoxy inside, but there is a simple tool to make sure that it will fit. If you don't have this special tool, then you can use the sandpaper as well. This was fine. Perfect. Goes in super easy. So guys, this is the results. It's far from the Ferrari look of the original Scout, but it will serve the purpose and will get you back in the air. I've only used the tools that are included in the Scout repair kit. Anyone could do it, even myself. I'm far from being very skilled with the carbon fiber. My colleagues in the factory would do a way better job, but they were too shy to come in front of the camera. If you like, you may continue using finer and finer sandpaper all the way with 1200 or 1600 grade. You may eventually achieve this super high glossy surface of the original pot. Now, to summarize, this kit is super easy to use. You don't need any special tools, everything is included. You don't need any special skills, just like me, just do it like on this video. I very much hope you guys will never need this tutorial video, but should you have the need for repairing your Scout, please contact your dealer or the Scout headquarters and we can ship you the repair kit pretty quickly. Thanks for watching, and fly safe and have fun.